Awesome, guys. Cool. I think it's about time we start the 24th community call. It's now 6:05 UTC as usual. We've got about 16 people in the call. So let's begin. So thank you everybody for being here. Last week, some of BabelFish's community members, namely Flametail and myself, as well as some non-contributing members, had the opportunity to attend Bitcoin Miami to represent the protocol and meet other builders from the RSK ecosystem and in general Bitcoiners, as well as also DeFi builders in general. It was a great opportunity to spread awareness, strengthen relationships, kindle future partnerships, and find potential new talent into the ecosystem. We left the conference quite optimistic about the current BabelFish solution and very bullish on the products we've yet to deliver, namely multi-chain lending and savings powered by Smart Bitcoin, or RBTC. Slow and steady wins the race, but as the rate of adoption and pace of innovation continues to increase around Bitcoin and DeFi, it is also time for BabelFish to slow up. And so to that end, let's get on with the updates. So BIP1, this is the first vote that we had on governance, and this improvement proposal is to reward XUSD users and fish stakers from the allocation allocated to the liquidity mining rewards, so that they can have increased voting power ahead of future improvement proposal votes. So this, as you may know, was approved back in early March, but the execution of this disbursement of rewards is expected within 4 weeks, as there is still some work pending on the logic and interface. There's some work that needs to be done, namely some collaboration with members of the sovereign team to make sure we can segment the different types of, whether it be an idle XUSD user or if they're lending or providing liquidity to sovereign, making sure that that those fish get delivered to the proper wallet addresses. So it's been delayed on both the front end interface to claim it, as well as figuring out how to work with the sovereign team on that end, or doing it ourselves directly, which is likely what's going to be happening. And at the end, that's all going to be helping us for future similar rewards that we may want to segment according to the XUSD usage. So we are expecting this to be solved finally by the next community call, which will be around 4 weeks from today. So please bear with us as you've been doing all along. We're working on it, and we're trying to build a solution that we ourselves really want to use. So just keep that in mind. Then BIP2, even though we wanted to wait until giving these rewards to everyone to continue with the different votes, it's been a bit, given the delay, we just figured, let's not keep on delaying. If there's some other good protocol that we want to partner with, it makes no sense to delay future proposals until that's solved. So BIP2, it was an interesting learning opportunity for the builders and users of the protocol, I believe. And the first time that the BIP2 was submitted, we figured that even though it had over 90% of votes in favor to add BDUS to the collateral, it did not have enough of a quorum, which was actually a bit of unexpected. So we submitted it again, and we did meet quorum this time. So that's really good. There were some lessons there, not only on quorum, and so but there are some things that we learned from that vote that will probably lead to some additional proposals, improvement proposals when it comes to the governance, dealing with quorum, allotted time to vote, as well as voting weight. So a lot to unpack from there, and we're definitely looking into it. Then basically, we've had two successful BIPs, BIP 1 and BIP 2 that we just covered. Now the thing is, if we should keep on going, and basically, it's going to take some time to implement some of these solutions. And so it makes sense that, for the third vote or the third proposal, one that I really personally like, and I think maybe we can prioritize, was one that's already been discussed in the forum for some time, which is to allocate an amount of the Bitcoin that was raised in the Origins token sale. So allocating a certain amount of that Bitcoin for insurance. Now, this is something that, it's implicit that if something were to happen, some exploit in the protocol, that funds would be used to make users whole. But this would be a very simple to implement proposal to make just explicit that there's going to be some Bitcoin that will be sent to an address, just to leave it there in case of emergency, basically. So that sounds like something that can be implemented relatively quickly, while BIP 1 and BIP 2 are yet to be implemented. And then another BIP that is really important, and we've been discussing for some time, but has not been posted on the forum, nor has there been much discussion around it. It's around curves and lending of collateral. So that is something that it's also just, in terms of priority and roadmap and agenda and things of priority that we should prioritize in the protocol. It's, incentivizing and disincentivizing certain deposits and withdrawals, as well as lending of the collateral. So we should definitely start making, having some conversations in the protocol around BIP 3, where it will be an allocation of insurance, and voting on that, and then BIP 4, potentially on implementing some curves and start the conversation there. So keep an eye up on the BabelFish forum. When it comes to bounties for different contributors, different, all of the different tasks that are provided to the community, these bounty payments are paid usually up until the 10th day of the month. But there's been some delays, whether it was due to the conference or to people, getting COVID. Matt, if you can please mute yourself, please. So there was a delay there. Expect the bounty, if you have a bounty payment due, expect it by tomorrow. So yeah, apologies on behalf of the team for that slight delay there. Same goes for the airdrop. So SOV, when we first launched the token, if you're familiar with the airdrops, and that's been happening basically since the fish token went live, and there was the way that it's being executed right now, the airdrop, basically it needs to be approved manually, the script that's made for it. But if the approval doesn't happen, basically the script, it's written that there needs to be a minimum of 4 weeks between each distribution. And there was a delay on the last airdrop that was supposed to be on March 11th, and it happened on March 29th. And so given that delay, the next one will be on Monday, April 26th. Otherwise, the whole script needed to be changed, and that's like, it's a few hours of development that right now we figured it's best to just, push it a bit more. So the bounties we can expect tomorrow, and then the airdrop we can expect April 26th. Those are the main updates on that end. And then finally, we also have the Babelverse survey or poll, however you want to call it. And there was also a raffle attached to it. So that's closed now. There were a total of 53 participants. And I don't know if we have some members from the Babelverse team that wants to go over the results here, or Potentially we can expect as well later this week not only a breakdown of the survey as well as contacting the winners from the raffle, but soon after also some draft in the BabelFish forum based on this feedback, requesting officially a grant from the DAO to keep on building the Babelverse idea. So I will give that decision on what to do with the results to the, if I see anybody from the Babelverse team, I see a couple of people. Galactic, I don't know if you have some thoughts there. I don't know if you want to share the survey results on this call, or if it's best for the Babelverse team to share them in a forum post later this week.
Yeah, I don't have them in front of me at the moment. So maybe you guys can share it. I'm not even sure I've got the direct access to the back end results of that. I'll have to take a look.
Sure. I think it's fine if we share them with the community. I think these are interesting with the wider community. I think these are interesting results anyways. So let's share them. Let me just share in here my screen. This one, yeah. All right, cool. Can everybody see my screen?
Yep.
Cool. By the way, this is a new sort of like interface that we're coming up with. Just don't want to reveal too much from it yet, but it's going to look pretty neat. It's just basically going to look a lot much more similar to what we have on the landing page. So there's been a lot of delays there, but it's just going to look, I think it's going to impress everybody. But again, we have so much to do that we learned in the conference that people are really waiting for, not only to lend the collateral, but also the savings product that we have to offer across chains. So a lot to do, but definitely we got a lot of good validation there. Cool. So these are the survey responses that we received, and I will just quickly go over them. I think the really interesting part will be seeing how the Babelverse team implements the community feedback into a grant request. So yeah, I'll just go through them. Cool. So how long have you been using the BabelFish protocol? Over 76% of respondents, the majority, have been using BabelFish since day one, basically, or from the beginning, early days. What is the main reason you would play a crypto-based video game? 68.6%, or 35 respondents. Again, the total sample was 53 responses. So the majority are playing crypto-based video games in this community to win cryptocurrency rewards, followed by a fun way to socialize and engage in the BabelFish protocol community. This one is interesting. It's a bit more split. Which game genre do you like the most? The majority prefers adventure RPG, followed by a quarter that prefers casual games, and then 20% that prefers, a fifth that prefers old school 8-bit games, and 16% that prefers real-time strategy. Would you participate in a Babelverse NFT sale to support research and development for a Babelverse NFT gaming project? This is really interesting. Someone just submitted a response. I think these responses are timed, but yeah, maybe we'll give this last respondent. I think there shouldn't be a problem extending the raffle to someone that just submitted a response now. So if you're in this call and you haven't submitted your response, you can still do it until today. So yeah, 48.1% of the respondents said that they would participate in the NFT sale to support research and development, which is which is great to hear. And then 15% said no. Should BabelFish DAO support research and development for a Babelverse NFT gaming project? So this is a bit phrased differently, which means, not through an NFT sale, supporting, which is kind of like the point of requesting a grant. And 81.1% of respondents said yes, and 13.2% said no. What percentage of in-game revenue should BabelFish DAO receive for supporting the game developers R&D? So in here, also, I think we have a very fair-based community that understands that we're trying to grow the pizza here. And so, yeah, 32% of respondents said that 20% of the in-game revenue should be given to the BabelFish DAO in exchange for supporting the development. 30%, 30.2% said that 30% should be given to the BabelFish DAO, and 15% said that 50% of the revenue should be split. Then we asked, this is just interesting. I'm not going to go through all of the different responses, but the community was asked for different rewards that fish holders and stakers can receive from the game. And there's some good ideas, I'm sure, here that the Babelverse team is looking into, including overflow from the BTC insurance fund. That's really interesting. What's the minimum amount of fish that players should have in order to access the demo games in Babelverse? So right now, if you want to play, originally it was 42 fish. I think it was being changed, but there should be a minimum amount of fish in your wallet detected in order to access the demo games that are available now on Babelverse.io. 32.1% of respondents think that 42 is a good number, and then there's some that think it's between 420 and 4200. What would you be willing to pay for an NFT game that gave you access to Babelverse.io in dollars? 48.1% said that they would be willing to pay $10 for an access NFT. 35.2% said they would be willing to pay $50. 11% would pay $100. And 3.7% would pay over $500. What would you be willing to pay for an NFT that gave you special powers within the game? 47.2% said they would be willing to pay $10. 37.7% would be willing to pay $50. 11.3% would be willing to pay $100. So pretty evenly distributed. Would you be interested in a utility NFT within this Babelverse that allowed you to compete for prizes or rewards and help fund new downloadable content? 47.2% yes, 41.5% maybe, 11.3% no. Would you like to see a crypto-based game that rewards your NFTs, virtual goods, and prizes for staking your cryptocurrency? Absolutely, 75.5%, 18.9% maybe, 5.7% nope. Then there's another question. What are some examples of NFT gaming projects we should be aware of and learn from, good and bad? So some good answers in there. Yeah, like Axie and DFK. So again, that's just a lot of different text answers. We don't need to go through them now. Same for this question. If the Babelverse were to build a massive multiplayer online game, would you like to see Discord chat integration in the world? So that question, I don't know why it ended up being into text, but yeah, it's I think the majority of the answers are yes. What is your preferred platform for gaming? 41.5% prefer to game via desktop, 32.1% on smartphone, 28.8% on a laptop. How many hours per week on average do you spend playing video games? 44.2% spend 1 to 3 hours. 17.3% spent between 9 and more than 11 hours, and 15.4% spent 8 hours. So we definitely have between 4 and 7 hours. Sorry. So we definitely have a lot of gamers in the community, which is great. What operating system do you prefer for all things crypto? Clear majority here is Microsoft Windows. So yeah, what themes would you like to see in the Babelverse? And this is very evenly split. I think this question was really important for the Babelverse team, but yeah, it's pretty evenly split. The one that is least liked with only 1.1 vote, it's spaceships, mining asteroids, and levelable skills. And then the most popular one are with 50.9% of the votes. It's world building, as well as a virtual fish tank and NFT fish breeding, which is kind of like a Tamagotchi. And then 47.2% for galactic conquest. And then, have you minted or purchased any NFTs? 85% of the BabelFish community has minted NFTs. Are you active in any NFT gaming projects? 52.8% of the BabelFish respondents are active in NFT games. And the final question, are there any additional comments you would like to share? And this is looking really, I don't know why this is a pie chart, but again, this is just another text field answer. So those were the results of the survey. Thank you everybody that participated that's in this call. And someone from the team will definitely be reaching out to the winners. We will be selecting them this week, reaching out to the winners. And again, keep an eye up on the BabelFish forum for conversations about the potential improvement proposal number 3, as well as a grant request based on this feedback from the Babelverse IO team. And those are the updates for this call. If there are any questions, now's the time. Just unmute yourself and go for it. Thank you.
You there?
Yes.
Okay. So this is Dak. I thought that was a really good survey. Galactic Cyclists and the rest of the team, we saw that when there was only 20 respondents. So it was good to see when 54 came in. And some of the stats did not change much, but it really is illuminating for what we had as kind of our gut direction, and then to have that reaffirmed from the community. So we are halfway through the proposal. It would be a pretty short doc with some really good visuals of everything that we are doing. It has 3 key points, if I can remember what I saw on that survey. One, we are definitely designing it to greatly reward those people that are staking fish. If you believe in this protocol and you're an early in and you supported it, we are going to continually imbue value for your staking in creating unique NFTs that you could only get from people that made the journey and the sacrifice that the community, the early community did. And so those things, let's say it's a warp gate, and this warp gate allows you to access a hyperspace port to warp in unique BabelFish. So that ties into the Tamagotchi kind of angle. That ties into what we see Avagotchi do. You might not get a warp gate under certain conditions that those that staked, they're going to find that they're going to have a warp gate. And we will, on the gaming side, we'll engage the protocol to set the expectations as we get feedback from the community and from the protocol team that their specialty is crypto, our specialty is gaming, and so we'll coordinate there. But that's one thing we're definitely doing. For the art that's on the Twitter that I think Kiro posted, what you're seeing there is a lot of virtual goods, and some of those virtual goods will tie into NFTs that are very rare, very unique, and allow you to move further and have an advantage in the game. The other statistic to say that over 80% want the protocol to pursue a gaming strategy. So know that we are putting in hundreds of hours in building what we saw there in the early hint of the statistics. The first round we saw 20, and then it just galvanized what we saw with the 50. And we'll continue to hear feedback, and these meetings is one place to reach out to us. And then we are talking about being more active in the Babelverse channel to get feedback there. And also when people see the proposal, that we could deepen more content in the proposal if there's ambiguity where people want more specificity. When we talk, well, how exactly are we going to reward? How long do you have to stake? How much is the NFT going to cost? We'll take all of that in a dragnet of feedback and sort that out as we continue to design the game. But we are having fish breeding. It starts with the space station, and that will be in the proposal, that you'll see that the game mechanics for building a space station sim will be the foundation for a galactic conquest sim and a world building sim. So it's really exciting to see that where our passions are aligned with the community, we are moving full steam ahead, and you're seeing a lot of the art. And Kiro and whoever's doing marketing and adoption, feel free to reach out for us for more assets, because there's a lot that we've been working on to show how serious we are in building a very unique, and I believe, because I've been here before in casual gaming on the internet, that we're going to be creating internet history where people will be writing about what we're doing in the next couple of years and in the future to come, because of the unique crypto gaming angle we're doing with the pixel art, with galactic comedy and humor, springboarding off of the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Thank you, Doc. That sounds amazing. Looking forward. Guys, if you have any questions, about the poll or just BabelFish and Babelverse, don't be shy, or about the conference, you can ask a question directly, or just type it up on CC questions chat. Otherwise we can just adjourn the call. Let's wait 5 more minutes.
Right, I think Frank had a question earlier yesterday. He asked, are there plans to build your own dApp? If yes, do you have a rough estimate?
Yes, so you can see our own dApp right now if you just go to babelfish.sovereign.app, and you can use it there. You don't necessarily need to use the Sovereign bridge, but it's not great. We're not super proud about it, especially because it doesn't match the landing page too much. BabelFish has really been built in a very distributed way. Like if you go to babelfish.money and then you go to babelfish.sovereign app, or then you go to the forum, like you can see, they're all built a bit different, and that's because the resources and talent and contributions were being brought up from varied sources. So we're just waiting to have like a more unified look. So that's so the app is live right now. But then this is only the beginning. This app that is live on babelfish.sovereign.app, which will also be upgraded in terms of the UI and the UX in the coming weeks. It's only the first stage of the product, which is aggregating liquidity. The second stage, which will be live, not to be overly optimistic, but I think just actually I think it should be on schedule for this quarter, will be to start lending the collateral to acquire some Bitcoin insurance, as we promised from the beginning, as well as reward fish takers. And so that's the next stage. And then the most important dApp that we have to build this year, and what people in the Bitcoin Miami conference were validating, and the need for such a product, is the savings product stablecoin users cross-chain that will enable them to not just earn stablecoins on stablecoins, but rather earn Bitcoin under stablecoins, and then providing even the ability to redeem that yield to native Bitcoin, similar to kind of like how Stacks does it for stacking stacks. There seems to be some psychological preference for native Bitcoin. So that's what we're really most excited about. But bear with us for that to be properly built. Yeah, I think that answers the question.
Amazing, thank you. I see another question coming in. Any progress about the hiring?
Yeah, great question, Pickle Rick. So both Flame and I, we're meeting a lot of, we're networking a lot. It was either people coming to our booth or just us actually just, going out of our booth to meet different people. Even Flametel, I think, met some potential candidates during a tour outside of the conference. So we have a few candidates that we're looking for, specifically backend developers, that we'll be following up with this week and next, as well as some candidates that were already in the pipeline. That's really what we need more than anything. We have plenty, we have UI, UX, we have front end. What we really need is a backend and full stack that can really help, sort of like Dark Matter. Dark Matter is really also a great talent that has built a lot of it, but he's more of an architect. He's not supposed to be, doing most of the programming. He can review a lot of the code. So once we hire, I think we just need one ninja backend focused full stack developer, and then we'll be able to move as fast as we want to implement our ideas.
Amazing, I can confirm that. We have some leads. Yeah, and we're looking to this week we'll reach out to them and see where we can go.
And again, like there's also a successful referral fee. So if you know the right candidate, just and the candidate is hired and stays with BabelFish for at least 6 months, there's also a successful referral bounty of $5,000 worth. So that's also something worth reminding.
Yeah, and you can always refer yourself, yes?
You can always, you can't refer yourself. But yes, I guess you can. Sure.
Signing bonus.
I think we can adjourn the call, and if anyone has questions, you can always use our channels, and we will provide answers as soon as possible.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, and also, yeah, if you're listening, yeah, exactly. You can always ask these questions. It's not limited to today. Just ask your questions either in CC questions chat, but more directly, just share your questions in general. If you're in this call, you already know that. Thank you guys for being in this call as well as in the previous ones. Again, the feeling that I'm leaving this conference with, and I think Flametel can share his thoughts as well, is that the product that we have today, which feels very Spartan, is really appreciated by the RSK community in general. It's a very simple idea that it's also it blows people's minds outside of RSK ecosystem, but then the product that we're yet to build, that's what's really going to add a lot of value to the ecosystem in general. Just the EV, just outside of RSK, enabling to earn Bitcoin with your stablecoin across chains. That's where we have to get to. So I don't know, Flametel, if you want to have some final thoughts on what were your impressions from the conference.
I think RSK is picking up some momentum. and I think that if we continue to build and we just slow up a little bit, that we can continue our growth and be amazing.
Super. I love that term. We don't have to speed up, we have to slow up. So slow and steady wins the race. Cool. Awesome. So Heidi, yes, I think you're right. I think we can adjourn the call. So thank you everybody for joining our 24th community call, and speak to you on Discord.
Thank you, guys.
Cheers.